So I, 30 female, raised my youngest sister, Jen, 20 female, since she was 13 because she had to be removed from our mother's care. Currently at 20, she still lives at home because she decided she wanted to drop out of college and work full-time for a while to figure out her major after getting an associate's. She currently works roughly 50 hours a week as a nanny, and she got this job recently. My husband and I had a baby boy 2 months ago, and before he was born, Jen said she'd be up to watching him a few days a week since she lives with us rent-free, although she does her own shopping. Since getting her job, Jen has no longer wanted to watch my son. She has 1 to 2 days off a week, and so we try not to burden her. But even on days where she doesn't work at all or is off early, she claims she'd like to be child-free. To her credit, she helps around the house after work, or she'll watch him and there so my husband and I can go for nightly walks or use the bathroom. However, the issue occurred earlier today. I asked Jen if she could babysit my son on one of her off days, and she said that she had plans with a friend on one day and intended to use the other to handle daily errands such as her chores like laundry, cleaning her room, etc. I told her that on errand days, she could just take her nephew with her and watch him while she cleans up. But she declined and said she would not be able to get anything done since he never wants to be put down, and her body is tired from all the rough housing that she does with the kids at her job. I told her that this isn't what she agreed to before, and she noted that she had a different job then, and she doesn't want to work on her days off too now. It's unfair, honestly, and she suggested paying another sitter, but why would I pay for a sitter when there's a literal professional in the same home that just refuses to do the work? She thinks I'm being over-demanding of her and that I agreed to having a third person indefinitely added to my life when I decided to conceive. Her comment was entirely unnecessary, but am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for not paying for a bachelorette trip I did not attend?
That's so dependent.
A few weeks ago was my sister's bachelorette weekend trip. Her and I weren't on good terms at the time, so I ended up not going. I let my sister know the week that I would not be attending. I assumed since I did not go, I did not have to pay. But a week after the trip, I got a Venmo request for bachelorette trip from the maid of honor. I declined it. Then, shortly after, I got a nasty text asking me to explain why I don't feel like I should pay. I made it clear and simple. I did not go on the trip, so I am not going to pay. Now, recently, I got a text from another bridesmaid, also asking for payment for the trip. It's worded in a much nicer way, but I still don't think I should pay for something I did not go to. Am I wrong?
Yes.
We have more info and background. You initially think yes?
Yeah, I do.
Because it's short notice?
No, it's short notice, and that's fucked up. Like, you can't, no. Unless it's like, it's different. It's not like, oh, shots for all of us, like, split between. But if it's like rooms, like if you got a big room with like 2 different like doors because she was going to attend, and you factor that in, then I think she should pay like her commitment. But not, and if there was, you know what I mean? But if it was just like, if it's dinner, no, of course not.
Okay. So more info. Yes, I'm a bridesmaid. Yes, it was planned in advance. Money was not asked for until the week of the trip. Also, money was a factor in this. I was let go from my job very unexpectedly. I found something in the meantime, but it's barely making ends meet. And I'm embarrassed and don't want my poor financial situation to be known to everyone. I briefly mentioned that to my sister, but didn't want it to be the main point. I thought she needed to know that her actions have consequences, and treating me poorly will not be accepted. Background info. I, 22 female, do not want to attend my sister's 24 female bachelorette party this weekend. Her and I have always had our differences and usually don't talk at all unless it's at family events. Even then, I try to strike up some conversation to see how she's doing and what's new in her life. More often than not, she answers with a negative tone. Why have I been saying things Canadian today?
I like to keep it going.
As if she is annoyed. I'm talking to her, she's giving me a dirty look, talks down to me, etc. So my effort over the years to engage with her has declined. Rewind to fall of 2022. Plans for her bachelorette start to come about, and even then, I knew I didn't want to go. I thought and fought a lot over what to do, so I called my sister and told her I was on the fence about joining her and her friends. She did not take it well. I told her that she's never pleasant to be around and doesn't treat me nicely, so I did not want to participate. I said some harsh truths that she did not like, so she hung up on me. The same day, she called back and said she would be better. Months and months go by, and no effort was made to mend our relationship from her. I'd called a few times, but she treated me the same. Short responses like she didn't want to talk, so I stopped and left the ball in her court because it works both ways. Here we are coming up on the trip, and I've decided I don't want to go because of her still mistreating me. I told her that, and she blew up on me. She won't let me get my point across as to why. She won't accept the way she makes me feel and just says my feelings are wrong, gaslighting me that it's all my fault. After a long fight, I said I could no longer discuss this, and we talked later, but I'm still not interested in going. She called me back a few days later asking if I was going on the trip. I said no, and she was still upset. I do feel bad because I'm a people pleaser, so I asked what I could do to help this relationship. She had no answer, and I told her to think about it and get back to me. It's been a few days, and I still haven't heard anything. I've made mistakes when trying to handle this situation with her, and I know I could have reacted better. I apologized to her for that. Honestly, I kind of wish she would apologize too. So, am I the asshole?
My husband and son both lied to me. I'm 34 female, my husband is 36 male, and we've been married for 12 years. A few weeks ago, my husband said that he's seen another woman handle situations that he didn't think I would be able to handle. I tried to talk to him about why it bothered me, and he just told me it was a passing comment and I shouldn't take it so seriously. That he had meant to simply compliment her by saying that she was handling so much on her own and he was impressed by it. I told him it was completely unnecessary and hurtful to compare her to me and compliment her. He told me that I was being unreasonable and jealous and that he didn't mean anything by it. After that, he didn't say anything else about it, so I dropped it. Then yesterday, when I came home from work, I saw a pair of women's Fendi sunglasses on our kitchen island, kind of hidden by our fruit bowl. I picked them up and asked my husband whose they were. He looked confused and was like, "Aren't they yours?" And I said no. Our older son, 11, is sitting at the kitchen and goes, "Oh, those are my friend Allison's. I took them home on accident." I was immediately suspicious. These are very expensive sunglasses. I know Allison's mother, and she doesn't seem like the type to let her child bring something worth that much money into school. My son kept insisting that they were hers. He had just taken them home accidentally on the bus and that he'd return them to her tomorrow. But I said no, and that I'd return them to her mother in person so I could make sure they got home safely. When I spoke to Allison's mother, she confirmed that they weren't Allison's, and that neither she nor her daughter owned sunglasses like that. When I told my son and my husband, they both feigned ignorance. My son went from saying that he could have sworn they were Allison's to, well, maybe not. Maybe I don't know whose they are. And then my husband said that he does remember taking the sunglasses out of our son's backpack when he was getting out his lunch stuff. My younger son, 9, just came home and recognized those sunglasses. They're Noelle's, the woman that my husband helps out sometimes. The one who he told me to not be upset over comparing me to her. I'm going to confront him when he gets home. I feel as though I'm going to immediately burst into tears. Can someone please give me advice on what to say? And also advice in general, please?
Am I wrong for cooking food while my roommate's girlfriend was here and also offering? I, 21 male, am from the South and grew up cooking and helping my mom cook for the business. I was frying chicken and catfish when I could reach the stove and making gumbo and buttermilk biscuits at a very young age. And I'm also currently in culinary school. I've lived in a rented house on the East Coast with my roommate 22 male for a year and a half. He's good to live with and we watch shows and movies together and also hang out for drinks sometimes. He's been seeing his girlfriend 20 male for like 6 months and I've met her before in passing. She's staying here for 2 weeks and things have gotten a little weird. For instance, when I tried to mow, my roommate said he would, but he never has. Am I wrong for cooking food while my roommate's girlfriend was there and offering? Also, a couple of days ago, I was washing my car outside, so I asked both of them if they wanted me to do theirs. I also frequently cook at home and give my roommate some, so when I offered him and his girlfriend some, he got pissed. And weeks prior to that, she told me about a specific cheesecake that she likes, so I made it and offered it to both of them, and again, he got upset. Mind you, I thought nothing of this except for hospitality. But now my roommate's saying it's so annoying hearing his girlfriend talk about how good my cooking is. So please let me know, am I wrong? Am I wrong for saying I told you so to my friend after her boss is being weird now that she told him she's pregnant? So a close friend of mine, Mary, is 3 months pregnant. I'm over the moon excited for her and really looking forward to being an auntie to her child. However, she does have a promotion expected to come up in the next 2 to 3 months, so I did give her some advice. I advised her not to tell her supervisor or bosses until the latest possible time required in her contract, which would be 7 months. Anyway, long story short, she did tell her supervisor and he asked when she's gonna tell the boss. She admitted that she wants her promotion and raise, so she's not saying anything until later. This was Friday. Am I wrong for saying I told you so to my friend after her boss is being weird now that she told them she's pregnant? I told her she was foolish to mention it and that she would find her promotion becoming tenuous and maybe wouldn't get good work. This morning, her supervisor asked her when she was going to tell her boss again. He said that he needs to hold interviews to replace her ASAP, and she also got removed from a long-time matter that she's been working on for 2 months. Of course, she called me to complain and for advice, but I said, I told you to expect this if you said something. I'm not sure what you want from me now. She got mad and called me a shitty friend and said I should be sympathetic instead of making her feel worse. So I honestly just want to know, am I wrong?